Hey, what's up guys? So in this video we're going to be talking about the best free-to-play weapons for every single character. We're going to be going through all of them, all the Blacksmith weapons and some of the 3-stars too. And there's going to be like timestamps in the description and on like the video bar to see like if you guys are only looking for Claymores or bow users or whatever, you can skip to that. That being said, I'm gonna mainly go over the 4-star weapons at the Blacksmith because those are the free-to-play weapons. But I'll also talk about some of the 3-stars, although usually I am not the biggest fan of 3-star weapons because they don't scale very well into the late game. So let's get right into it. First of all, there's something I want to quickly go over, and I talked about this in my Diluc weapon tier list, but I'm gonna repeat it here to avoid a bunch of comments asking questions about 3-star weapons. So basically, the reason why 3-star weapons are a lot worse than 4-star weapons and why I'm not going to be talking about them too much, despite them being mostly free to play, is because of their base attack. So if you look at the base attack of the Debate Club, which is an amazing weapon, it's only 39. If you look at the prototype of Minas, it's 44. Now, you might not think initially that 5 is a lot, but trust me, it really adds up. Because when you look at a level 80 weapon, the base attack is 355, and then for a Minas, it is about 500. So that's almost 150 damage your base attack you're losing by running this 3-star weapon. And yeah, you know, like the effect is good and all, but it's probably not worth the base attack loss, and that's why I'm not going to be talking about 3-star weapons too much. And mainly focusing on the Blacksmith ones. However, there are some notable 3-star weapons that are worth mentioning, and I will go over those. One quick thing before we start is that all the weapons at the Blacksmith, in case you guys don't know, are free to play because you need you use ores that you get just by running around, and you can use co-op to get basically unlimited amounts of these. And then you also need prototypes. Now you can get these from the shops in both Leeway and Mondstadt, and there's also some quests that give them, like there's one in the Dadalupa Gorge that gives you a Claymore one. And also you can get some every single week by doing your Storm Terror and your Wolf Boss. And each of them, they have a chance to give you like a random prototype. Alright, so let's start with the 2 swords you can craft at the Blacksmith. Let me first say that they're both really good, but they have their specific uses, and they both serve different purposes. So the prototype Rancor is a physical damage sword. This is a sword that's really good on physical damage dealers, characters that want to be spamming their attacks non-stop, and that don't care too much about elemental damage. So for someone like Jean, someone like Chi-Chi, I think this is the best sword on them that you can craft at the Blacksmith. And then it's also good for a physical damage build Kaching if you're running her with like a Bloodstained or something, as well as a DPS Bennett. But most people are going to run Bennett on support, which is why I would recommend the Iron Sting, which is the next weapon we're going to talk about. So the Iron Sting is an Elemental Mastery based sword. The secondary stat is Elemental Mastery, and the effect will give you more elemental damage. So the point of this sword is to put it on someone who's going to be triggering a lot of elemental reactions so that they do more damage from it. So on someone like Kea, or a Bennett that's being your support character, or a Kaching that's an elemental build like Thunder Soother, Thunder Fury, or even like a Jingqiu, this would be the best sword on them. I personally think both swords are great, but clearly this is a sword for physical damage, and this is one for elemental reactions, elemental mastery, elemental damage, all that good stuff. But yeah, overall both the swords are really good, so you can't really go wrong with these as long as you know why you're purchasing a specific sword and what your playstyle is and all that. Alright, very quickly guys, I realized that I forgot to mention the Traveler. If you're mainly dealing damage with her, like physical, then you want the prototype Rancor, and if you're trying to do elemental stuff, you can run the Sting. However, since we can only run the Traveler with Geo or a Nemo right now, both of those aren't the greatest with elemental synergies, so maybe not Iron Sting. But then again, if you're using them as a support, you don't really need the physical damage, but if you're using them as like a main DPS or something, then this is a great weapon on them. However, I do want you guys to know, and I want this to be clear, that I don't use the Traveler much, so this is one of the few characters that I don't know too much about. So if I'm mistaken, or if you guys know more than me, you can leave a comment and I'll like favorite it or whatever. Alright, let's move on to bows. So I've been really dreading this part because this is highly subjective and it depends on your playstyle and what you're trying to accomplish with a bow, but I'll try to explain it to the best of my ability. So usually the prototype Crescent will come out on top, and there's 2 reasons for this, over the compound bow, which we're going to look at in a bit. So the reason why this bow usually comes out on top is because 1, the secondary stat is flat attack %, which means even when you're not firing and you're just casting abilities, a lot of those abilities are going to scale off of your attack. So this is really nice compared to the compound bow, which gives you physical damage. So let's say use an ability that scales, you know, you'll do more damage because you have higher attack. If you're using the compound bow, you'll lose out on that damage because you have physical damage bonus. So what the prototype Crescent does is when you do an aim shot on weak points, which means it's a critical hit, right? It'll do a lot of damage. Your attack will be increased for 10 seconds. This is really good when you're using a character that does, you know, aim shot, or I think it's just good on archers in general. It just means that you're going to have to aim shot when you want a DPS with that character. So let's say you're running a DPS character with a bow, you go for a headshot, and then you can spam mouse 1 if you want to. That being said, I think the compound bow is better for spamming mouse 1 because it's going to increase your normal attack and aim shot hits by 4% and your attack speed. So it increases your attack and your attack speed, and it stacks 4 times. And on top of that, these percents are greatly increased when you refine this weapon, which you can do while being a free-to-play player. The physical damage is really nice when you're spamming, those auto attacks. And I personally think that this bow is going to be amazing on Child when Child comes out. And I know they're going to change his name. So if you're watching this in the future and you don't know who Child is, it's the water dude of the bow. It looks like this bow is going to be great on him because from the footage we've seen, it looks like he's going to be spamming his normal attacks a lot and then switching to his daggers or his spear or whatever to finish the opponents off. So I think this would be better on Child, and I think it's also better on a main DPS Fischl where you're spamming those normal attacks. But if you're using Fischl as a support, Crescent is better. And I think this bow is better for like most of the other archers, so Venti, Amber, and all that. That being said, I have to mention that bow users have great 3-star options. I ran a slingshot up until very recently. I just destroyed it. I had a refinement 5 one. What this does is it gives crit rate and increases your damage of every shot by 36% as long as you're close to the enemy, right? So it can't be more than, the travel time of the arrow can't be more than 0.3 seconds. And this is refinement 1. When you refine it all the way up to 5, you can see it goes up to 60%. So that is a lot, but it is also a 3-star weapon, so proceed with caution. There's also the Sharpshooter's Oath, which I've heard is good. Increases your damage against weak spots, so if you're running someone who's just sniping, going for crits, this could be good. All right, now let's talk about Claymore users. So Claymore is by far the most straightforward one because just basically because of how good Prototype Aminus is. So first of all, I just want to say for Noelle, White Blind is the better one because it gives you defense percent, and the effect will give you some attack and defense too, so it's okay, and it's really good for Noelle actually. But Prototype Aminus is an amazing Claymore, and it's so good that I can't justify using White Blind on the other Claymore characters. So for Baidu, for Chongyun, for Diluc, for Razor, and if there are any else that I'm forgetting, you want to run Prototype Aminus on that character. Now the reason it's so good is because it gives you attack percent as a secondary stat on top of the base attack, and then its effect will give you burst damage every 15 seconds, and this burst damage is quite a lot. It's 240% at refinement rank 1, and it goes up to I think like 480 or something at refinement 5, and obviously you can refine this as a free-to-play player, so that's very realistic. This weapon is great, and since 4-star weapons are so much better than 3 stars in the late game, I would recommend this on the Claymore users over the 3-star weapons. That being said, if you are looking for a 3-star, for a Claymore user, the Debate Club is very good at Refinement 5. But that being said, Prototype Aminus is definitely better as a free-to-play weapon. Alright, now we're going to talk about the Polearms, which are the spears of this game. And this is a weird category because currently in the game, there's only one Polearm user, right? There's only Zhangli. That being said, Zhongli is coming out soon, and Zhao will come out eventually, I hope. I really want to play Zhao. So, yeah, I mean, let's look at these two spears. I'm first of all going to say that both the spears seem good, but let's talk about Prototype Grudge first. So Prototype Grudge gives you an energy recharge substat, and that's really important to know because that usually indicates that the spear is meant for a support character, right? You don't want your main DPS to lose out on like a damage substat by having energy recharge. So, and then when you read the effect, it gives you more damage when you use an elemental skill. So I think this is the best spear if you're running or it's a good spear if you're running a support built Zhangling. And the reason it's better for support Zhangling is because since you have energy recharge here, you're going to be spamming your ult more often. So basically you can use her, use your E, use your Q, attack a few times and then swap out, and you're good. And this is the best spear for that. That being said, I think Crescent Pike is better overall on her, especially as DPS Zhangling. If you're using her as a support, as I said, Grudge is better, but for a DPS, this one's nice because it gives you physical damage instead of that energy recharge. And on top of that, the effect is very nice. So what it does is every time you pick up an elemental orb or particle, and you're going to be getting a lot of those with your Gooba, right? He creates a lot of those. Your normal and charge attacks, right, are going to deal 20% of your attack damage for 5 seconds. So this damage definitely adds up. You deal 20% more attack damage on each hit for 5 seconds. That's a lot more, especially if you're building a lot of attack damage on your spear polearm user. However, when Zhao comes out, from the gameplay we've seen, the leaks, the CBT3 tests, it seems that his ultimate transforms his damage into Anemo damage, so physical damage might not be good on him, so keep that in mind if you're thinking about crafting this weapon for Zhao. Claymores are pretty straightforward. Basically, you want Mapamari on any damage dealer, so when you're trying to deal damage, Mapamari is great because it gives you an Elemental Mastery substat, which is good on mages because, let's say you're using Mona, let's say, you want to be vaporizing a lot, so Elemental Mastery is very nice because it's going to boost your damage. And then the effect of it is also nice. Once you do an elemental reaction, you gain bonus elemental damage, which is amazing. So this is definitely the damage dealer book. I would put this on Sucrose, I would put this on Mona, Ningguang, Lisa, and even Klee. So this should be your go-to book, and it's way better than the other one. Now the other one is the Prototype Malice, and what this book does is it gives you HP percent as a secondary stat, and its effect will recharge energy for everyone in the party. Now this is a pretty decent catalyst on Barbara, but the only problem is that there's a 3-star book that's available in the game that's just better than that. So if we look, the Thrilling Tale of Dragon Slayers, when it's refinement 5, it also gives you HP and stuff, but the best part about it is the effect, which will boost your attack of the next person you switch in, the next character you switch in by 48%. So I like this book better than the Malice. I even made the Malice for my Barbara, then I was like, oh, I think Dragon Slayers is just way better. So in my opinion, you want to be running, where is it? Mapamari on any damage dealer, and then for your Barbara, you're gonna want Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers. Alright, that about sums it up, guys. I tried to keep this video short, just be straight to the point, talk about the weapons. There's no real reason to prolong this video. Like, I don't really see why I would show you guys like a demonstration, because like I show you guys the effects, you guys can tell which one's better, and then you can buy it, upgrade it, and see for yourself. I don't want to make you guys watch like a 20-minute video on this. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to comment or have any questions or anything, please do. I read them all, and it means a lot. If you want to subscribe, you can. If you don't, that's okay too. Follow me on Twitch if you want. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.